welcome to the University of Leicester MBA webinar. My name is Helen Spiropoulos and I'm the Admissions Manager at Stafford Global. And joining me this evening all the way from the University of Leicester is Dr. Peter Rodgers. Good evening to you, Dr. Peter.
Good evening, Helen. Good evening, everybody.
Okay, so I can see that we do have quite a few students already that have joined us, and welcome to all of you this evening. How we are going to conduct the webinar is I'm just going to briefly introduce you to Stafford Global, what we do. Then I'm going to hand you over to Dr. Peter, who's going to go through the program. And at the end of the webinar, you will have the opportunity to type out any questions that you would like to ask me or Dr. Peter. I will be looking at the questions quite carefully because a lot of them are identical. So I will be grouping them together. So do listen out for the question as well as that answer. Okay, so let's get started. Who is Stafford? Well, Stafford was established in 1993, and we were the very first resource center provider for distance learning education in the Middle East. Now, we are currently the resource center for 5 UK universities, one of which is the University of Leicester. Now, we do offer a variety of programs ranging from certificates to diplomas, bachelors, masters, right through until doctorates. So we really do have all the programs for all your personal as well as your professional needs. Now, the mere reason that you are here this evening means that you have been in touch with one of our experienced academic consultants. And our function is to assist you throughout the application process and to make sure that we do get that very important unconditional offer for you. And we do also provide administrative support as well as some academic support. I'm now going to hand you over to Dr. Peter. He'll take you through the program, and I will join you towards the end of the webinar. Over to you, Dr. Peter.
Thank you, Helen, for your kind introduction. As Helen stated, hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Peter Rodgers, and I am the Director of the MBA here at the University of Leicester. Before talking in more detail about the MBA at Leicester, I'll just give you a brief introduction about the university in general. The University of Leicester was founded nearly 100 years ago in 1921, and very proudly was awarded the Royal Charter in 1957. In terms of rankings of universities around the world, we're very proud that we are within the top 2% of universities in the world. And in terms of research and teaching excellence, we've been given 5 stars according to the QS World University rankings, and we're widely considered to be in the top 25 UK universities by the Times Higher Education Research Excellence Framework, which looks at the teaching and research power and excellence of UK higher education institutes. Moving on to the Leicester MBA. Most importantly is to say that we've been doing this for over 30 years. So it was launched in 1989. This is our kind of 30th anniversary this year. We were one of the first AMBA accredited distance learning MBA courses in the world. So in terms of our alumni, students who have already received their MBAs and carried on in the world of business and the world of work, we have over 12,000 alumni who are located in over 150 countries around the world. So when I say that our MBA is a truly global MBA, this is truly correct. We have MBA alumni located in pretty much every country around the world. What we try and do in terms of our MBA, we are incredibly global and international in our outlook, in the content, in the students that come on board onto the program, in terms of our student body, and also in terms of the networking opportunities. One of the reasons students come to do the Leicester MBA is not only the quality of the content and the quality of the accreditation, but also the opportunity to meet people from lots of different places in the world and develop business and friendship relationships which continue during the MBA, but also after the MBA studies have completed. Okay. In terms of the content, I'm going to be talking in a little bit more detail today about that. But most importantly is to say that we have a distance learning MBA. So probably the vast majority, 80–90% of your learning takes place online. So you can do this at home or in the office. You can do this on your PC or on your tablet. We've done obviously lots of market research, and we understand that our students are incredibly busy people. They have busy lives in terms of family life. They have busy lives in terms of working life. So we've developed an MBA program here at Leicester that's incredibly flexible in terms of work and family commitments, whilst at the same time you do have one-to-one face-to-face support, as I'll be explaining. In terms of the contents of the MBA, we have a very general, covering all the main spheres of business and management studies, including human resource management, strategy, entrepreneurship, marketing, finance, operations management, and international business. In terms of the MBA and its qualifications, firstly and probably most importantly, we're very proud to say that we've been accredited by the Association of MBAs, that's AMBA, for over 30 years. So the AMBA kind of sign is a sign of status and prestige. I think there's only about 260 MBAs which are accredited by AMBA around the world. So we're in the top 2% of MBAs that exist around the world. At the same time as receiving your University of Leicester MBA degree, you'll receive simultaneously a second qualification. This is the Chartered Management CMI, Diploma in Strategic Management and Leadership at level 7. This is the CMI, the Chartered Management Institute, is a highly respected UK-based but increasingly global in its outlook. So this is a second qualification which is considered as a sign of quality by many employers around the world. Thirdly, within the Leicester MBA, you have the opportunity to specialise if you want to. So some students come and do a general Leicester MBA. Some students, however, decide that they'd like to do an MBA with a specialism. So you can either choose to do a specialism in finance, a specialism in marketing, or a specialism in human resource management. So if this is something you can do as well, this sometimes is very important for people who are already specialised in those areas within their career paths. That's again kind of an added advantage about doing the Leicester MBA. Okay, moving on, looking at the course structure. Importantly, duration. The Leicester MBA takes 2.5 years, so 30 months. You will do each of the modules chronologically. So from months 1 to 6, you'll do module 1, which is managing, developing people and organizations. This involves learning about human resource management, leadership and change management. After module 1, you'll do module 2 in months 7 to 12. And this you'll be looking at things like marketing, innovation and entrepreneurship. Moving on to the third core module, this is managing finances and strategic decision making. This module looks at accounting, finance, economics, but also issues like strategy, corporate social responsibility as well. So after 18 months, when you've done your 3 core modules, you have the choice of choosing what options you want to do. And you have an option of either doing marketing, an option to do finance, or an option to do human resource management. Following this, in the final 6 months of your MBA degree, you can choose to do an MBA project. This can either be a company-based project, a business analysis, a business plan, or a dissertation, a traditional academic dissertation. So at this juncture, many students choose to do a company project using the company as an example, as a case study in which they're working at the same time. Okay, you might ask, what's number 5? That's learning and professional development portfolio. This is a portfolio which is embedded and attached to all of the of the ongoing modules. So this is an opportunity for reflection of your studies throughout each of these modules. At the same time, also, there's a careers management and development program, which is embedded within the wider MBA program. So you'll have the opportunity to listen to and to learn and have one-to-one sessions with professionals in terms of your career development, in terms of professional coaching as well, which students find, I think, incredibly useful. In terms of the delivery, course delivery, as I've put here, the majority of the course delivery is online. You'll be doing online lectures. These are recorded lectures and take place every 2 weeks. So it's a 2-hour lecture. You can download this lecture, put it onto your laptop, put it onto your PC, put it onto your tablet, and you can watch this wherever and whenever you want. You can watch this at home, in the office, in the shower. You can decide where you want to watch it. That's fine. Okay. Online seminars. These are live seminars that take place normally every 2 weeks. For students like yourselves based in the Middle East, these normally take place on a Friday, which is, I know, is your weekend, for 1 hour. So it might be 12 o'clock on a Friday. It might be something like this. And this is an opportunity for you to discuss core issues from the module with your classmates. Also, in terms of online learning, you'll have opportunities to work within discussion boards. These are kind of areas where you can discuss core issues with your fellow students, MBA students, and also with your tutors and lecturers as well. All the materials, as I've put here, the online materials, all the materials you need to do the Leicester MBA are provided for you online. Lots of students often ask me, Dr. Peter, what books do I need to buy? And I say, you don't need to buy any books. All the materials are available online. You can click online and download the materials. Okay. As I put here, in person, every 6 months of your study, normally the first weekend in February and the first weekend in August, we have our residential workshops, which take place at our global study centres. These are located firstly in Leicester, then in West Africa, East Africa, in the Mediterranean, in Athens, and also, and importantly for yourselves, in the Middle East, in the UAE. So you will be able to come to a residential workshop. This will take place at a weekend on a Friday and a Saturday, and you'll be able to obviously meet your fellow MBA students in person, and you'll also be one or two academics, lecturers will come from Leicester, will fly to the residentials, and you'll have a weekend of learning there. You'll also have the opportunity to meet some alumni as well, which is important. Finally, on this slide, as I put here, the Leicester Masterclass. The Leicester Masterclass takes place every August for 1 week in Leicester at the School of Business. And, excuse me, this is an opportunity, again, for MBA students to come and spend a week learning with fellow students from around the world. And students find this incredibly useful and also very enjoyable. The residential workshops and the masterclass are opportunities, obviously, to learn, but they're also, very importantly, opportunities to network as well. So you get an opportunity to get to know your fellow students, not only online, but also in person. Okay. So we have residential workshops every 6 months, as I said, at the beginning of February and the beginning of August. In terms of the Leicester Masterclass, this, as I said, is 6 days, which takes place every August in Leicester. So, as I stated at the start, one of the things we've tried to make very important in our MBA is flexibility. We understand that people have busy lives. So in order to receive we call them synchronous hours, the live contact hours you need to receive in order to receive your MBA, you need to engage with your live online seminars, which is 1 hour every 2 weeks, and also either 3 residential workshops, which you could go to in the UAE, or you could go to 1 residential workshop in the UAE, for example, and then the Leicester Masterclass. So to answer some of the questions that students often ask me, which is, Dr. Peter, do I need to come to Leicester in person to do the MBA? I can say, no, you don't. If you want, you can stay in the Middle East. You can go to the residential workshops every 6 months in Ras Al Khaimah, and you can do the residential workshops, and that's fine. You don't need to visit Leicester. You don't need to come to the UK. If you want to come to the UK and visit Leicester, we're always happy to see you, and you'd be more than welcome. But that gives you some sort of flexibility, hopefully, which is important. Okay. Studying. For many people, starting the MBA after they've finished their studies maybe 5 years ago, 10 years, 15, 20 years ago, is a new challenge. So we provide at the University of Leicester School of Business a whole series of personal help and support networks for this. For example, in each module, you'll have a module leader and also a study group leader for the work you do within the seminar series. The residential workshops, these have a leader, a workshop leader, who will be able to provide guidance in terms of the themes of the residentials, and also provide any answers to any questions you have about your modules as you continue. During the whole period of your MBA study here at the University of Leicester, you will be assigned a personal tutor. This is a very important person who connects with you. If you have any questions, any queries, any problems, any worries, you can talk to your personal tutor and they will help you in terms of letting you know what you need to do. Careers and professional development at the School of Business. We're very lucky because of our size. We have our own specialised careers development manager, and also you have access to the University of Leicester's careers development service as well. In terms of library, we obviously have a physical library on the University of Leicester campus. However, you have full 24-hour, 7 days a week online library access. So if you want to download and get some reading from the library, the vast majority of the materials are available online, so you don't need to go to a library. You have all the materials online. You click a button and download the PDF. Okay. The final point of importance here is the English language. As I stated, we offer an MBA which is global in our outlook. We encourage people from excuse me, from all over the world to come and join our MBA. We obviously recognize that English language is not the first native language for all of our students. As such, we have a highly specialized English language teaching unit which is available at the University of Leicester, and it's available for all of our students. And as MBA students, you would have access to this teaching unit, so they can provide support, maybe in terms of, for example, academic writing, which can help you during your academic studies and your MBA studies at the University of Leicester. Okay, so moving on to the next slide, another typical question that students ask is, Dr. Peter, how much time do I need to allocate? How much time do I need to do for this MBA? I say maybe maybe between 10 and 15 hours. I put 12 to 14 here. It depends on the person. On a normal week, you will either do one online seminar for an hour or a 2-hour recorded lecture. Okay. Also, you'll need to engage in kind of lecture and seminar discussion forums. These take place online, so people will be discussing the contents of the lectures and the seminars, and there'll also be some online readings. So you can, these are, as I stated here, are available to download. Okay, so it's a case of time management in terms of your work, in terms of your family and other commitments. Most students find this not to be a problem at all. Once they get used to working on the MBA, they just manage their time pretty effectively, actually, forwards. Okay, in terms of going forwards and examinations, we have a varied, and I've stated here, engaging set of assessments. On our core modules, this is modules 1, 2, and 3, you'll have an examination which is in the middle of the 6-month period, and that's 50% of the module, and you'll also have a final individual assignment. For modules 1 and 2, so that's the first 12 months of your study, the examination will take place online. This is a change we've introduced very recently in October this month. So it's only in module 3 will you need to take an examination physically normally at the British Council office within 2 hours from where you live. Okay. Within the option modules, you'll do a midterm individual assignment and a final group assessment. Okay, so we've introduced some group work and group assessment into the MBA there at the option stage. And then finally in the MBA project, which is your final 6 months of study, you'll be doing either a business plan, traditional dissertation, or a consultancy style study. So there'll be no examinations there. Okay. Finally, again, throughout your studies, you'll be developing a learning and development portfolio. This evidences the reflections on learning activities and talks about your engagement in the careers development program, which we have at the University of Leicester. Okay. In terms of entry requirements, I've stated here, this is either a UK degree at the 2-2 standard or equivalent and 3 years work experience, or we say a recognised qualification and considerable, maybe 5, 7, 8 years management experience. Excuse me. If your first degree wasn't completed in English, we have a series of English language requirements here. You can either do EL or the TWE, or you can take the University of Leicester's English test, and they have the opportunity, which we've introduced, for taking having an interview with myself as the MBA director as well. So one of the most important things I would say today is that if you have any questions about, for example, the amount of management experience you have, please do contact and speak with your Stafford consultant. Lots of students come and go, oh, I'm worried I only have 4 years management experience. When we actually look at the CV and we actually consider what's been done and how much management experience you actually might have done, it sometimes means that you've forgotten something. So please do consult with your Stafford consultant in terms of making your application and making it most to help you as much as possible. Okay. In terms of monies, what does your Leicester MBA course fees cover? It covers all the study materials, your attendance at residential workshops, attendance at the Leicester Masterclass, and any examinations that you would take. As I state, you would only take an examination now going forwards within module 3 of the program. What it doesn't cover is accommodation when you come to residential workshops and accommodation catering at Leicester Masterclass, and also travel when you travel to any examinations, masterclasses, and excuse me, residential workshops. In terms of the fees, I think this is the correct fee, £14,850 British pounds. Again, this can be payable in 6 affordable installments, so you can pay essentially every 6 months as you continue your studies. Okay, so you don't need to pay all the money up front. You can pay every 6 months as you continue your studies. In terms of the applications, the 28th of February 2020 is the next application deadline for you to start your studies on the 1st of April in our next MBA cohort. I hope that is all clear. Does anybody have any questions?
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Peter. I'm going to ask you to put on your webcam again, if you can see that, so that at least the candidates can actually have a look at you. There you go. Okay, fantastic.
Hello, everybody.
All right, so now's the time to actually type out any questions that you may have, and I can see that a few have come through already. Okay, so from Mohammed, we have the Stafford consultant has already informed me that there will be a discussion or interview with you. Can you please let me know how I need to prepare for that? What will you be asking me?
Okay, that's a good question. In terms of what I'll be asking you, it's kind of very broadly, as the MBA director, for me, is important to hear why a potential prospective student wants to do the MBA. So talk about your experience, what you've learned in your work and professional life already, and why you want to do the MBA. So it's kind of hearing the desire and the reasons why as an individual you want to do an MBA at this stage of your career. So for example, you could be, hello, I'm a marketing manager in the Gulf region. I'd like to do an MBA because I think it's an important stepping stone for me to get promoted in my company. And that's a good reason.
Good, good. And Lee's question is, I'd like to prepare for my thesis. Now, do I prepare that from the beginning of the course, or can I change my mind and change my topic whilst I'm going through the program? Good,
right, that's a good question. We're all different people. Some people's favorite color is blue, some people's favorite color is red. Some students start their MBA on day one and they say, Dr. Peter, I'm going to write my thesis on the marketing policy of Pepsi-Cola in Kuwait. And 2 years later, they write their thesis on the marketing policies of Pepsi-Cola in Kuwait. They're very organized, structured, and they know where they're going. Some students start their MBA and they say, I'm going to do marketing and I'm going to study Pepsi-Cola, for example. And then in 2 years' time, when they're talking about their thesis and choosing what to do, they decide a completely different subject. That's totally fine. That's totally normal. You have the opportunity during your studies to discuss with your tutors, discuss with lecturers, discuss also with your fellow MBA students. So some people change their minds going through, so that's fine. Things change.
You have mentioned examinations. Are these open book format or not? And are they really difficult?
Right. It's a really good question because we've changed the examination process in response to our students' feedback. Students essentially were finding it sometimes slightly difficult. We used to have our examinations every 6 months at normally a British Council office located around the world. Now going forwards in your first two core modules, Module 1 and Module 2, you will do your examinations and it will be an open book examination. So you'll have to complete online during probably a 72-hour period. Okay. Most students probably think this is easier. Okay. Pedagogically, it probably shouldn't be, but it's generally considered. You have an open book, so you have the opportunity over a 3-day period to provide the answer. So this is for Module 1, Module 2, so that'll be for your first 12 months of your study on the MBA. The only examination actually physically in person that you would do would be in Module 3, which is the finance examination. Because of our accreditations with Chartered Management Institute and AMBA, we need to make sure that there's what we call it's an old school examination and timed examination for finance questions. But fundamentally, I think it's probably become much more student friendly, hopefully.
Good, and I do believe that this program is AMBA accredited. Is there any possibility that it will get any other additional external accreditation?
Okay, good question. Yes, as I stated, we've been AMBA accredited for 30 years. Last week, I enjoyed going to the city of Oslo in Norway, which was incredibly expensive. But it was a lovely city to participate in a kind of forum of MBA directors with AMBA accredited schools. So this is very important for us in terms of the prestige and status of the program. Driving forwards, it is a strategic priority for the School of Business to aim to become AACSB and EQUIS accredited within the next 5 to 10 years.
Excellent. And I believe that there's quite some time, as you have said, to dedicate to this program. Do you think that it is something that can be completed in the stipulated time, or do students actually extend their study time?
Okay, good question. In the quickest you can do the MBA is 2.5 years. So I'd say probably 85% of our students do the MBA over the stipulated 2.5 years. However, there are students that do choose to stop their studies for 6 months. Might be somebody has a baby, somebody moves jobs. As a student who was asking to stop their studies 2 weeks ago because they were moving from California to Tokyo in Japan with their business. So they stated, I want to move to Tokyo, start doing the business in Tokyo and Japan, and then I'll restart in April 2020. And this is absolutely fine. There's that flexibility that's built in. So if you do have kind of issues with your work or family, you can stop and then restart 6 months later.
Is this online MBA degree certificate equal to any MBA that you offer on campus? And will this particular certificate state online distance learning?
Good questions. Okay. The University of Leicester, we only have one MBA, which is this MBA. In terms of the certificate, it will simply say Masters of Business Administration. It will not say distance learning. It will not say online. It will simply say MBA.
Okay, and I have completed a postgraduate certificate at another institution. Will you be able to give me a reduction in my fees or an exemption for that?
Unfortunately not. In terms of the program, in terms of our accreditation with AMBA, we need to ensure that we start from essentially from scratch. So prior learning in that respect is not taken into account. So you'd start from module 1. But hopefully your experience and from that previous study will obviously aid you through your MBA studies.
Good, and can you give me a little bit of background about your summer school? Is this something that I should be attending? Can you just give me some information what will be covered?
Okay, good. The summer school, we call it the Leicester Masterclass, takes place in normally the first or the second week of August in the summer in Leicester. So hopefully the sun will be shining, even in the UK. It's 6 days of learning. Last summer there was about 100 students, and it's normally theme-based. I think it was around entrepreneurship, creativity, and you'll be set up into groups of students and you work on a specific case study throughout the course of the week. But as I stated in the presentation, it's an opportunity. You do a fair amount of work, but also you have a lot of opportunity to do some quizzes, to do a lot of networking as well with your fellow students. You go to some gala dinners, you can meet lots of the academics at Leicester. There's local business people that come to speak to you. So it's an opportunity to do a lot, kind of enhance a lot of your business and management skills.
Good, and my consultant at Stafford has informed me that I may have to take the MBA assessment. Can you give me an idea of the topics that will be covered in the essay part?
Okay, it will probably be something around maybe talking about leadership in the world of business. Might talk about the experience you have and how you think this might be useful in your MBA studies. So the topics I think will be pretty generic in that respect. It's not a case of it's nothing particularly difficult. What the assessment is simply to try and find out where you are in terms of your career and why you want to do the MBA at this stage in your career. So from my perspective, nothing to worry about.
Is there a possibility for me to take 2 modules? I do know there are other institutions that do permit this from the MBA, will this be able to get me to finish the program in a shorter period of time?
Okay, unfortunately not. In terms of the development pedagogically of the MBA program, we've developed it so that each module chronologically develops from the previous one. So whilst there are often students who say, Dr. Peter, I want to finish quickly, I want to do modules 1, 2 and 3 at the same time, and then, for example, I might say, well, you need to be a little bit careful, you might not have any time, and they say, no, I'll finish. In practice, there's too much information to kind of rush during that. So it is a case that each module chronologically follows the others. So 2.5 years is the shortest amount of time to complete the program.
Is the CMI certification provided by the university, or would I have to contact CMI and do additional exams to get that qualification?
Good question. It's an automatic qualification. So by achieving and being awarded the Leicester MBA by the University of Leicester, you'll automatically be provided with a certificate from the CMI. You don't need to pay them anything. You don't need to do any extra work for them or contact them. You'll automatically be given the certificate.
If I cannot travel to any of the workshops that are scheduled across the globe, would I be kicked out of this program?
Most probably, yes. It's one of the stipulations, the conditions for the program is each student has to engage in no less than 120 live contact hours. So in order to do that, you can do your live contact hours by engaging in the seminars which take place on a fortnightly basis. But in order to receive 120 hours, you will need to go to either 3 residential workshops during the 2.5 years or the Leicester Masterclass and 1 residential workshop.
I'm looking to emigrate to Canada. Will this degree be accepted in Canada?
Yes, it will. The Canadians fully understand the quality of the University of Leicester.
And if I cannot attend my graduation in the UK, how do I get my degree certificate and transcripts?
Okay, good question. We have graduation at the University of Leicester in January, twice a year, in January and in July. And obviously students are warmly invited to come and celebrate their achievements at the graduation ceremony. However, and certainly for programs like the MBA, which is an online program, we have students located around the world. If they choose not to, or they can't for whatever reasons attend in person, the university will send your degree certificates to you by post. So don't worry, you'll receive them by post, and that's fine.
If I fail a module, which I don't intend to do, will I be able to get a critical review from yourself or the tutor so that I know where I have gone wrong and obviously resubmit?
Right, okay. So yes, in terms of resubmissions, yes, you have an opportunity to resit each of the modules. If you've had a problem with one of the modules, the examination or the assessment, firstly, you'll be provided feedback by the module leader, so you can consult with the module leader in the first instance. You can also discuss this issue, secondly, with your assigned personal tutor. Thirdly, if you want, you could obviously contact me as the program director, and we could talk that through, and then you'd have an opportunity to resit and pass on the second attempt.
Okay, if I need to speak personally to a tutor, are they available via Skype? I know some other institutions do that. Will they be able to accommodate me? I do understand that they may not be available during the UAE weekends.
Understood. Yes, module leaders, as I said, personal tutors, myself, are available via email, often on the discussion boards which we have in each of the modules, or for a kind of a phone conversation via Skype or via WhatsApp, or sometimes we use Zoom as well, which sometimes works as well in the Middle East quite effectively. So, as we say in English, where there's a will, there's a way. So sometimes I've tried with students, there's been a problem, for example, with Skype, then we'll try WhatsApp or Zoom, and most importantly, there's the opportunities there. So that it's absolutely fine.
If I do happen to fail my MBA assessment, can I retake it immediately so I can join the cohort?
Yeah, good question. If, for example, you're doing module 1 and you fail it, you continue with your same cohort into module 2, and then during module 2 you'll have an opportunity to retake the assessment in module 1. So you don't fall behind your the cohort. You just continue studying with them.
Okay. You mentioned earlier in your presentation that if I don't have a degree, you may consider some other qualification plus management experience. I do not have any qualifications whatsoever, no academic, no professional, but I do have 10 years management experience. Will I be accepted?
Good question. I would strongly recommend contacting your Stafford consultant, and they will be able, with their expertise, to navigate you in terms of providing the correct information on the application form. But in all seriousness, we welcome students from a variety of different backgrounds. So there could, for example, be an entrepreneur, somebody who's never had formal education, never done a degree, never been to school or university, but has been managing people for 10 years and could have fantastic insights in terms of their study. And quite interestingly, the statistics demonstrate the students who come through what we call that non-standardized route, they do very, very equally as well as students who come with a degree, university degree, actually on the program. The outcomes on the MBA are very, very similar. So don't be worried, don't be afraid, talk to your Stafford consultant, make an application.
Absolutely. And in my part of the world, I would require to receive a letter of invitation in order to attend the graduation. Will the university assist me in this?
Yes, it will, yes. The university understands, recognises you'll need, obviously, some people will need a visa in order to enter the jurisdiction of the United Kingdom. So in very good time, they will provide a letter of invitation. As I say to all of the students, please apply at your local British Embassy in good time, especially, for example, in the summer. For obvious reasons, they can get very, very, very busy. So if you know you're going to be coming in July to Leicester, or August for Leicester, for example, for the masterclass, apply as soon as you know, get the letter from the university, get yourself booked in at the embassy and go and have an interview or provide the documentation and get your visa, so there's no problems at the last minute.
Okay, good. And a very last question is, will you be conducting the workshops in Russell Kamer, or will these be conducted by other tutors? Because as a program leader, I would like to meet you.
Thank you very much for the kind words. Yes, I will be coming. I came last February to Russell Kamer in 2019 and had a thoroughly excellent time. I met Helen and other people from Stafford, and also lots of students from across the Middle East, from UAE, Oman, Kuwait, Jordan, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, probably some other countries as well. So I had a really, really nice time. The weather was excellent. It was a good location. So I think as a program director, it's very important that I come to visit my students around the world. So I'll be very much looking forward to seeing you in Russell Kamer. And it's a lot warmer than in UK as well, so it's an opportunity to see some sun.
Absolutely good. So, well, that's all our questions for this evening. I've managed to group them all. And as Dr. Peter has said, we are currently accepting applications for the following cohort, which starts next year. And applications are coming in quite fast and furiously. So I do advise that you get in contact with your academic consultant, and let's get that application in as soon as possible to the university and get that very important unconditional offer for you. Again, Dr. Peter, it was wonderful having you with us this evening, and thank you everyone for attending and those wonderful questions. And we do hope that we'll see you at the very first workshop. Thank you again, Dr. Peter. Good evening to you.
Thank you, Helen. Good evening. Thank you, everybody.